What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the hero Conclave of the Chosen fight that will be coming in the new raid Battle of Dazar Allure in patch 8.1. Now this boss takes place inside of Dazar Allure. That was mentioned during a live stream, is that we would be seeing a never before seen inside to the temple. And this is also listed as a 5th boss that we'll fight. And you'll fight this boss as Alliance, since they seem to be converging all 9 bosses into one raid now, instead of what they originally said with 6 bosses each faction, 3 unique for the faction, so you'd face the opposite faction's unique bosses afterward in a flashback. It seems as though that idea is being scrapped just to allow all 9 bosses in the same order for both factions. Anyways, for Alliance, if you're curious as to where the entrance for this raid is, it's super easy to get to because it's in Borealis Harbor. There's just a green raid portal right there that leads on to a Culturon ship that brings you to the raid. So now anyways, for the fight. It's a total of 4 bosses that you'll kill which do not share a health pool. You want both tanks to tank them apart, although it doesn't have to be very far apart at all, but this is due to their lowest packed ability, which will buff them only if they're within 7 yards of each other. Now all other aspects, as you might imagine, have different abilities, so this would dictate which your group wants to kill first. We had Gonk and Paku aspects active at the start, so we all focus Gonk. Now you want all your DPS focused on one, none on the other, because when one low aspect dies, the other gets healed to full health and has his damage increased by 15%, which stacks. Gonk has an ability that will polymorph random players in the raid. You'll get a big green circle around you, just get away from other players before this falls off, or you'll polymorph them. Then his other ability is that he summons raptors. These raptors will fixate on players to kill them immediately. Now while you're fighting Gonk, Paku will use his abilities. Now one of the abilities is Paku's Wrath. Paku will be summoned at one end of the room and will have this whitish circle under him. Everyone wants to get under that because if you aren't, then you'll take a bunch of damage. Also be aware that the polymorph overlaps a bit with this, so if you get the polymorph on you, either get to the very edge of the circle and let your raid know to not stand in your green circle, or stand out of Paku's circle and use an immunity to not die. You can still use immunities when polymorphed. Also the aspect of Paku will occasionally buff all the raptors, but this buff can be dispelled off of them. And then the aspect of Paku gets this buff as long as he's attacking the same target, which increases his attack speed. So there's a taunt off mechanic in there. Now we didn't get very far in this fight. The furthest we got was killing Gonk's aspect, and then Kimball's aspect spawned. The tank pretty much just wants to aim the aspect of Kimball away from the group for his last raiding claws ability. And then when Kimball is active, you want your raid spread out 5 yards because Kimball will leap to a random location and make any enemy he hits when he leaps bleed. And then we never got to see Akunda, but Akunda's aspect has something called Thundering Storm, which seems like it will put an AoE circle around him for melee to get away from. And then this aspect casts something else on players, which sounds interesting. It's called Mind Wipe, which is a magic effect that makes everyone forget their abilities for 30 seconds. Maybe this is some sort of charm and you can't attack anything unless you get dispelled, so a priest with mass dispel sounds amazing here. Group up and just dispel everyone. And then Akunda will affect random players with Akunda's Wrath. If you get this on you, you want to get to the edge of the room away from everyone, because when it explodes, it will leave behind an orb that stuns anyone it touches. And then the heroic mechanic, which I actually didn't see at all between my 10 attempts on this boss, is that Kragwa is supposed to spawn, leap to the furthest player, damage them, and knock them back. So there's that. And yeah, that's the entire fight. A lot of mechanics with this one compared to previous bosses. I feel like this one will be a wall for pugs just because it doesn't seem like it's a DPS check per se, but a mechanics check. Also, this boss has a chance to drop 2 companion pets, a child of Paku and a thunder lizard runt. And then on mythic, it can drop a spawn of Kragwa companion pet. Anyways guys, that's the entire video. All the mechanics for the 5th boss in the Battle of Dazar Allure raid. You guys can leave in the comments below what you think of this boss, but if you guys enjoyed this video, then you can leave a like on it, you can sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.